Welcome to another video made by UD Builders. We're going to show you how to chalk out your exterior walls on a new build. To start out, we're going to start with our longest wall. You're going to mark 4.5 inches there, and you're going to mark 4.5 inches here. We're marking 4.5 inches because we're going to have brick on the exterior of this home. You would have already had to make this decision when your foundation walls were poured to make sure your J-bolts were in the right place. So we need 4 inches for the brick, and then another 1/2 inch for your sheeting on your studs, which will give you your shear strength. We're going to begin with the string line. We got to pull it tight, really tight, so that you can make sure both ends of your string line are on those marks. And then my dad, he's going to go here and mark 2 different spots. We don't like to span more than 20-25 feet when we chalk. You'll notice that he lifts that string line up and pops it off so that it will line itself back up, making sure that it's not stuck in a spot that it shouldn't be. And now we're going to chalk these spots. Make sure you're perfectly on your marks. I mean, this is going to be exactly where your exterior walls are going to land, and you don't want to have any issues there. You want to be perfect. I'm going to go ahead and drop a link down below. This is our favorite chalk line. It's nice and thin, and it leaves us perfect marks. I recommend it. All right, with that, we are going to mark our parallel line to the front end of the house. He's going to mark it at 4.5 inches. I'm going to go to the back of the house. We're going to get an exact measurement. Everything that you do needs to be exact. Anytime that we do pull a longer tape measure like this 100-footer we got right here, I always put it on 1 foot. Even with shorter tapes, normal standard tape, I'll always put it on 1 foot so we can make sure we're dead on and exact. So we're going to get that measurement. We're going to walk over to the other side. We're going to mark it. Grab that string line again. We're going to walk over. We're going to put that string line on those marks exactly. He's going to have his side anchored again, and I'm going to pull my side right on the mark. You're going to notice that he's on the opposite side of the garage where there's not going to be an exterior wall on it where we're marking. The reason for this is when we go to get our hypotenuse soon to make sure that the house is square, the bigger the space that you're marking, the better. And if you have a shape like a square or a shape like a rectangle, you can double check your lines a lot easier and a lot better. We'll get that chalked out right there. And we'll chalk the other side of that garage where it doesn't matter for our green plate, but when we go to check it for square, it's nice to have this line. Okay, now getting ready to mark up our square for our hypotenuse. He's going to mark it directly at 4.5. He's going to go to the other side. Mark it directly 4.5 coming in. We're going to get a length for this right here. This is one of the numbers that we'll use for our hypotenuse. It's just the longest wall that we're doing again. We're going to find out what its length is, and that's what we're going to punch into our calculator to do it.
On the mark, we do the same thing every time, so don't mix it up. Yep. Yeah.
Okay, so we already got our length for this side wall here, our area squared, and that's our B. We're going to square it as well. We're going to punch that into a calculator, and then we get our hypotenuse number. If you want more information on this, check out the episode. I'm going to put a link right here. We'll show you how to do it the caveman way without a calculator. I'll tell you, when I made that video, I got a lot of comments that said, just use the calculator. It'll be so much faster. Yes, we know. Just use the calculator if that's what you prefer. So either way, back to it. We marked our diagonal. He marked it over there on his end. Now that he's got that mark, we're going to pull the tape. I'm going to mark it 1 foot here, but it's literally the length of that back wall we're at. We're just paralleling it.
Okay.
And now it's time to find out if we're truly square. He's going to do that diagonal again. We're going to use that C-squared number that we got from our calculator. He's going to put his tape end on. I'm going to pull my end on right where we cross on that intersection and see if we're perfect. And we were. So we're good to go. Now we can start paralleling off the back wall and the front walls. So we prefer to go to our longest chalk lines first, our longest walls first, and then start working our way to our smaller walls. Seems how I marked that one. My dad wants me to put this string line that I just pulled on the exact spot it needs to be on. That mark I made was a little funky, so my dad wants to make sure that we're directly over it, so he's going to have me look at it because I knew where the tip was. Now that we got the string line directly over that mark, I'm going to mark this side of the string, and I'm going to mark another part of the string that's in between those two other marks so that we can pull chalk line and make sure it's directly over where we need it to be. And we're going to chalk it out. And this chalk line is awesome. Seriously, I'm going to mention it again because this chalk line, when it first showed up, it was an employee, kind of a lousy employee that showed up with it. We used it once, we bought like 5 more, and we've used them since. That was like 5 years ago. Okay, now back to it. We are going to actually use a normal tape now that it can reach. They do a lot better, we believe. We're going to mark the back of the garage foundation wall. And then we're going to mark the other side with that. And then we're going to pull a chalk line and mark it. Oh yeah, I forgot. We had some of our bolts on the wrong side. We made a decision that we should probably have our green plate or our exterior wall pushed more towards the inside of the house. So we just ended up having to grind those puppies down. And to install our green plate right there, we're just going to use our hammer drill and some 16 penny nails. That should be just fine there on a garage. And now we're going to jump to the front of our garage and get those marks, those parallel lines, where our 18-foot garage door is. We're going to get our chalk lines directly over our marks. He's going to chalk his side. He'll kind of get my side, and then I'll chalk my side as well. Okay, he's going to pull off that foundation, mark 4.5 inches again. We're going to pull a tape over here and see what that length is from this longest chalk line from this side of the house. Get our parallel marks, and then we're going to chalk it out. This is the number one critical thing that we do every time that we chalk out a floor that isn't covered with a roof or exterior walls. I'll leave a link at the bottom of the page for this clear marking paint. We do it every time that we're doing foundation walls like this, because I swear every single time that we finish chalking something out and we leave it overnight, it rains, and then we have to redo the whole thing again. So I 100% recommend just spraying some clear marking paint every time after you're done marking something out that could get wet. One sweet thing that we're going to keep doing from now on that we tried out on this house is that we marked out all of our interior walls at this point. This made it so much easier to know where any of our wall channel blocking need to be on our exterior studs, and also for our doors and windows just from the get-go. If you've enjoyed this and you like these kind of tutorial videos, we do a sweet series on how to drop those floor joists into your foundation walls so you can have a no-step house. We have links here. Check them out. Like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.